Hey guys, it's Becca, and we are back on my channel with another speed build, and today I am building a tiny house. So I was on Pinterest the other day, and I was looking for inspiration for a house that I was wanting to build. I was wanting to build a bigger house for a family in my save file that I was working on for myself, and I came across a picture of a tiny house and I just liked it so much I changed my mind and decided to build this instead. So this is a um, modern tiny house. I took inspiration from the picture, but the house isn't exactly the same. The colors of the outside of the house are the same and kind of the outside style, but I just did what I felt like doing on the inside. So anyway, but it's a two-story house, or it's two-story. I say two-story, but it really has just a two-tile wide upstairs area. But it took me a while to figure out the roofing on this build, but I really like how it turned out. And then it has the roof that goes out a little bit in the front, and it covers up this area in the front that I ended up putting a like a built-in window box there. And as you can see, I put down a door because I was wanting to do a balcony off the back of the build, and I ended up not. I struggled with it for a long time, and I just decided I cut it out of the video because I didn't end up working with it, and it just did not work. Because the problem is that when you try and use railings, they clip over the roof, and so I could not come up with a way to have a balcony on the upstairs without the railing looking ridiculous. So you can see that there's still part of it on the build right now, but I ended up getting rid of it and I just cut out working on that. But anyway, this is not a starter home, tiny home. I think it ends up being over 40,000 simoleons, but I just felt like it was kind of a modern, luxurious style house. And like I said, I really like how it turned out, and the floor plan is really simple. And it just has a bathroom that is 2 or 3 by 1 tile, and it's got a little half kitchen. I say half kitchen. It has the compact, or the refrigerator from university, the mini fridge. I couldn't think of the word of that, but it has a mini fridge from university and a microwave, but it doesn't have a stove or a full-size fridge. But I actually think that works out okay though, because with the mini fridge you can make any kind of, you can serve meals that don't require cooking. So you can make salad, you can make the BLT sandwiches, you can make fruit salad if you have, I think that came with Dine Out. But anyway, there's a lot of meals that you can actually make with just the mini fridge, and you can store full-size meals in the mini fridge. So you could grill, and you could put the grilled food into the mini fridge, and it'll stay just like it'll keep it just like a regular fridge. So that actually works out pretty nicely. I like that feature a lot. Or, you could go and visit your neighbor, and if they cook something, just kind of pop it in your inventory and head home and eat that for a week. But if that's what you want to do. But anyway, and then I've pretty much got the floor plan here. I changed it a little bit, and the bedroom ends up not being its own separate space. But like I said, I really like how I like the floor plan of the house. I like how it came together. Modern is not a style that I normally build, and I liked the challenge of this. I thought it was a lot of fun. So, and it has this huge outdoor deck area. So there ends up being a grill out here, and a table and some seating and stuff. So anyway, I don't know if you guys watched the live stream today or not of the tiny living stuff pack. I'm really excited for it. I wasn't thinking that I'd be able to watch the live stream because I usually work on Fridays, but we had a snow day today, and so I stayed home and watched the live stream. But I'm really excited. I really like the items that they created that are combined. So if in the new stuff pack, they're going to have a TV, stereo, bookshelf all in one unit, and the Murphy beds are a bed, plus you can have there's one that has a sofa combined to it, and there's also one that has a dresser combined with it. So I really like that feature. I think it's really neat. And I'm really excited for the stuff pack. I can't wait for it to come out. I wish it would come out on Monday because I don't have to work on Monday, and then I could just spend the whole day playing the pack, but it comes out on Tuesday, which is still really exciting. So, but I was thinking, they talked about there's 3 different tiers of tiny homes, and the first tier is 32 tiles, and that is anything that's on within a room or on a foundation. So like this house, I think this house is actually bigger than the 32 tiles. I think it would fit in the second tier, which is I think it's there's the micro home is the smallest tier, so that one has 32 tiles, and then there's the tiny home, which has, I think, 64 or less tiles. So I think this one would fit in the micro or the tiny home, because I think that I probably use less than 64 tiles, but I honestly don't know. And then there's the small home, which is 100 tiles or less. But I'm really excited about this pack. I think that something that would be really cool if they did this in the future is if they released another world like they did with Newcrest. So if you've been playing The Sims for a long time, The Sims 4, when it first came out, there were only 2 base game worlds. There was Willow Creek and Oasis Springs. And then at some point we got an update with the world of Newcrest, which was a completely empty world. And I think that a really cool thing that they could do would be if they created another world like Newcrest, but had all the lots be like 15 by 20 or 20 by 20 lots, or even go smaller and do a 15 by 15 lot, or a 10 by 10 lot. I don't know if they would go that small, but I think it would be really nice if we could get a free update world with lots specifically designed for tiny living. I think that would be really cool. I don't know if that's something that would happen or not, but that's kind of like what I feel like would be a really cool addition to the game, because a lot of people like to build tiny homes, and especially with the pack coming out, having a world that is suited for just tiny builds I think would work really well. But I have rambled on through pretty much the entire kitchen doing that. But as you can see, the kitchen's pretty small, but it has some cute little clutter in it, and I really like how it turned out with the little shelves over the fridge and the microwave, and then there's the counter, so you've got a full counter that you can use to prepare food on. The only thing is, I will say, make sure that you have move objects on if you go to place this lot, because I forgot to turn move objects on when I placed it to playtest it, and the microwave disappeared. So make sure you have move objects on, or your house will arrive with a floating fruit bowl and no microwave. But here you can see I'm working on the bedroom, and this house actually fits 2 Sims, so you can get to both sides of the bed. It would obviously be a tight squeeze to have that small of a house, but you can fit 2 Sims in here. And I ended up, instead of having a wall, I used this divider that came with the Moschino stuff pack, and I really like how it turned out. I tried putting a curtain, but none of them worked because I moved the screen back part of the way so it's in the middle of a tile, so like curtains they didn't work on it. But I ended up finding a I can't remember what it came with. I think maybe Island Living, but it's like the large slats, and they go across. Oh, it came with Dine Out. Okay, so they go across it, so it adds kind of a feature, but it gives a little bit more privacy in the bedroom. So I mean, really, you have a decent amount of privacy in the bedroom. And then I was trying to figure out how to put a dresser in here, and so I thought about doing this shelf, but I didn't have a mirror in at first. So then I decided to do a dresser for the TV console. But I actually, if you look in the screenshots, the living room looks a little bit different. But I'll talk about that when I work on the living room. But I did put in just a dining table for 2 people inside, and then there is a 4-person table outside. And then I wanted to put some curtains on these windows, but I didn't want to cover the whole window. And so I ended up putting curtains just on the two side windows, and I figured that in real life, if this was a house, you could pull those curtains all the way closed. But in The Sims, you just leave them open, because why have those huge, beautiful windows if you can't look out them? But here I'm putting in a dresser for the TV, and then I put in I really jumped around on this build. Like, I did the outside, and then I furnished a lot of the inside, and then I go out and do the landscaping. And I think sometimes with tiny homes, I don't have a routine that I do. I just kind of go, oh, let's take care of this, and then I jump around and go, oh wait, I forgot to do the landscaping. So sorry if it's a little jumpy. But up here I made it really simple. I just put a desk with a laptop and an open book and the bookcase clutter, which is actually, that now counts as, you can use that as a functioning bookshelf, which is awesome. And so that was actually part of the reason why I tweaked the build a little bit before I put it up on the gallery and did the screenshots, because I wanted to take advantage of that. So a couple of those I placed two of those little bookends in the build, and I moved both of them so that they're functional, because I discovered that if they're not locked on a slot, then they don't work as a bookshelf. Like, my sim couldn't reach them. But anyway, I'm just finishing up this little office space, and I put the magazine spread over here, and just a certificate, and then the bulletin board with some postcards. But I mean, I use writers a lot. Like, when I'm playing the game, I have a lot of writers. So I was kind of thinking a writer for this space, that it would work for a writer. But I think that you could have a sim who's in the business career work here, the lawyer career, the education career, the tech career. I think it would work with a lot of different careers. It's got, the office space. But anyway, the living room has a chair. There's not anything else. I didn't put anything else in the living room. Oh, and I was going to try and use these chairs for pillows, because I've been seeing people do that, but I didn't like how it looked on the bed, so I got rid of them. But, and then here I decided to put a mirror instead of the hanging clothes rack, because I have the dresser. And like I said, I actually go through before the screen, when I do the screenshots, it looks a little bit different. I replaced the dresser with two, the side table from, I think it's Laundry Day, that has all the little cubbies and stuff. I figured that could still kind of work as a dresser, but I'm putting the librarian bookend on here. And like I said, if it's not clipped to a slot, it doesn't work. So I put two of those side tables together, and the bookshelf is on one, and the TV is on the other. So it looks a little bit different in screenshots, but it still has kind of the same, it is the same general vibe. But anyway, I wanted to hang some lights on the outside. I love these lights from Seasons, but they don't work with every placement. Like, it has to be a certain number of tiles for them to work. But these ones from Toddler Stuff worked perfectly. So I think that's the only thing I use from Toddler Stuff. So if you don't have Toddler Stuff, that's the only thing that you'll be missing. But anyway, at this point, I decided to jump outside and start working on the outside part of the house. So like I said, I put a grill on this big side porch so you can grill, and then I put a table, and you can probably tell, I used a lot of red accents in this, so it's very black and white and gray. So I felt I'm not great at modern architecture, but I feel like black and white and gray are kind of those sleek modern colors, and so I used a lot of black and white and gray, but then I added the red accents, and I really like how the red looks with the black and the white. But I added these chairs in, so you've got a nice outdoor seating area, and you've got the outdoor table. So I feel like this is the kind of house where, I mean, it really suits one or two Sims, but you could have people over, and you could you could spend most of your time hanging out outside, and I think that would work really well. And then working on the landscaping, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with the landscaping, but I really like how it turned out in the end. Um, at first I was thinking using debug items, but like I said, this was not a starter house, so I decided just to go ahead and use what I felt like using, and I just used the regular landscaping items. But here I realized I needed to put in a mailbox, which it's a miracle that I remembered a mailbox, because that a mailbox and an outdoor trash can are probably the two things that I forget the most when I am doing builds. And so then I put it up on the gallery and realized that there's just a random mailbox over in the corner of the yard, not doing anybody any good. But um, I like how the mailbox and the two trash cans, I figured one was a trash can and one could be a recycling bin. I know we don't have recycling in The Sims, but I think that that's pretty realistic. And I feel like people who would live in a tiny home like this, that I know that not everyone who lives in tiny homes is doing it for environmental reasons, but I feel like that's kind of something that a lot of people who live in tiny homes, it's either for financial reasons or just to create a smaller footprint, and so I felt like having recycling just made sense for the build. But I really enjoyed using these flowers from is it backyard? No, romantic garden. The romantic garden flowers. I think they're so pretty. I love the colors. I just finished another build that I used those in also in a different color, but they work. I feel like they work in some builds, and then in some builds they just don't suit it very well. And I I try not to use too many stuff packs in my builds. Because I feel like of everything, stuff packs are probably the one thing that a lot of people don't have. And so if I'm trying to think about limiting my packs, I try not to use too many from stuff packs. But I honestly feel like a lot of the stuff packs have good items in them. The cool kitchen stuff, I use stuff from there, and the outdoor or the backyard stuff and toddler stuff and kids stuff. I think that there's been a good amount of stuff packs, and some of them I don't use very often, but overall I think that they do add some good features. So this is not a limited pack build at all. I think I probably used a majority of the packs that I own in this build, but I do like how it turned out. And then here I decided to give him a pool in the backyard because, like I said, I feel like this home it's tiny, but it's modern and it's luxurious. And so there's a pool in the back and lounge chairs and a bar. So, I mean, really, if you are someone who likes outdoor things and you want a tiny house and you like modern, this would be a good house, because you could also, I feel like it's got a good amount of outdoor space for entertaining. I mean, you couldn't throw a humongous party, but you can get there's a good amount of outdoor stuff out here. So the one thing I always struggle with is finding lights for outside. But I like using these and merging them into the fence posts. I think that works pretty well. And then I do put some lights on the pool in just a minute, and then I did put a light on this table too. Or no, I didn't put a light on the table. I thought about it, but I ended up putting I think the pitcher. But like I said, the outside of the build looks a little bit different in the screenshots. Also, instead of keeping it all black, I added a basically like a wooden slat color on the outside and the front, and I really like how that turned out. But anyway, I am pretty close to the end of the build, but I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you are still watching, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the build, feel free to comment or give it a like. If there's a build that you would like to see me try to attempt, feel free to leave a comment about that in the comment section below. But anyway, this build is up on my gallery. My gallery ID is BekahSue, and let me know what you think about the new Tiny Living Stuff Pack. If it's something that you're interested in, if there's a feature that you wish that they had added or not added. But anyway, I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.